The black freedom is dead. We're coming to get our check.
B1 brothers and sisters, welcome back to the Afro Elite YouTube channel. If you are new to this channel, can you please make sure you subscribe to the channel? It really helps the channel grow. Also, make sure you leave a like on this broadcast and all of my other previous broadcasts. And please make sure you share this video on your social media platform. All of these things help this channel grow. We're on our way to 4,000. We just recently crossed the 3,000 barrier. So 4,000 is the very next thing we have to come across. I'm really trying to get this channel to grow because I really want to have more people on. We've had a lot of guests on, real estate agents, music artists, and so forth. And I really want to give them a platform because they have tools and avenues and different things that they can use to help other black people. So I would like to get them on, and I would like for this this platform to grow. So when I bring them on, it can spread, the message can spread to a wider audience. So thank you guys for being here. We have the Black Basketball Channel with Zen Master. Okay. B1 to you, our mod ace keeper, Andy Coleman, B1, Kiana, B1 to you, and Chris G, B1 to every single last one of you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Let me put this on here so you guys can follow me on social media if you guys have not done so already. Give me one brief second. Hold on. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm back. What's the light? Okay. So we are going to be discussing the situation with Nuri Martinez. And is this a reflection of the Black and Brown coalition? Did she just disprove the existence of a Black and Brown coalition? So let's look at that. And first off, if you guys haven't known, if you guys don't know, and I'm not sure how you guys wouldn't know, but of course I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't go over the situation with you guys. So I'll go over it briefly, as I'm sure you guys know, because it's not really recent news. But let's go over the situation with Miss Martinez. Okay, I'm just gonna play the audio. I'm not really gonna read the article. Okay, so LA City Council member. Let me make sure you guys can see me properly. Yes, cool. LA City Council member Nuri Martinez, Gil Cedillo, Kevin D. Leon, and LA Labor Federation President Ron Haria. And you guys know I'm trying to get better when it comes to pronouncing names. Ron Haria making racist comments and discussing redistricting. Okay, so this was audio from 2021. This is a audio from over a year ago, over a year old audio that someone recorded and they didn't know about it. And this is how they were talking about black people when they were discussing redistricting for the sole purpose of giving the Latinos of the LA population an advantage over the blacks in LA. Okay. Now, before we really get into it, I want to say this, and this is brought up a few times before too. Anytime you guys see like a situation where somebody has a leaked audio or whatever the case is, and especially if it's like a politician and they're just having a conversation and somebody's recording them and they don't know, I want you guys to think they have that type of conversation all of the time. The person who recorded them didn't just luck up and was all like, I'm going to just be recording audio today and hope for the best, hope that they might say something racist. Whoever recorded them and posted it on Reddit, whoever did that knew that Nuri Martinez and all of the people that she hang around, whoever did that knew she talks like that, knew this is how she is on the regular behind closed doors. That's why they were able to get this audio. And this might not be because this might not be the only audio, but this is clearly not the first time that individual um, has heard something like this from her. It happens so often that that person felt like it was a good chance that if I have my recording in my pocket, my phone recording in my pocket, I'm going to catch something. So I want you guys to know this might be the audio that leaked, but this was definitely not by any means the first time she said anything like this. She's been saying stuff like this for a very, very long time, to where somebody's all like, hey, you need to record her. And coincidentally, it's happening right before a re-election, because this audio is actually from 2021. I think October in 2021. It's like a year old. So whoever's recorded this clearly has been sitting on it for a year before they let it get leaked out, which was a politically strategic move so she won't get reelected, and that can harm the Democratic Party. But okay, let's go and listen to the audio. Guys, please make sure you guys are leaving a like, because that really helps the channel. Thank you very much. Very, very much. Let me see. Okay, here it is.
All the folks like with that fun.
If you guys can't read it, there are subtitles to it, so I'm going to zoom in a bit so you guys hopefully can see the subtitles.
All the folks like with that fun. He did call me. He wants to have breakfast with me.
What's taking him so long?
I haven't. I just said, hey, we need to talk.
You supported him from the.
All right, don't worry, I got you.
Yeah.
So you'll start seeing them line up. Isaac was the first. All the.
And that's her saying, F that guy. He's with the blacks.
Yeah. So you'll start seeing them line up. Isaac was the first.
Okay. Here is some more audio. Just so nobody can say, oh, what she said was taken out of context, because there are some people trying to say that, make the excuse that her and the other people she was talking to, their words were taken out of context. It was not taken out of context. It was not edited. It was not altered. It was exactly how it sounds, which is racist to black people. It's anti-black racism. That's exactly how it sounds. I guess, yeah, I was like, I guess I could play it like this, but I kind of can't, because you guys need to see the subtitles. So let me play it like this.
This thing, it's like black and brown on this float, and then there's this white guy with this little black kid who's misbehaved. Este niño has they're not even, they're not doing, the kid is bouncing off the effing walls on the float, practically tipping it over. There's nothing you can do to control him. Parece changuito. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Now, hold on. She says something.
Practically tipping it over.
Now, I just Googled that. I just actually Googled what that word means. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. Let me pull it up, because I saved what that word means. It means what does that word mean? It means, first off, the first word, chalita or something like that, means shut up. And then, hold on, let me see. What does the second word mean? I think it means monkey. I gotta look it up and see. What the hell? English word for chalito. It means, I don't know. It's not saying what that word means. I believe that word means monkey, though. Shut up, monkey. I believe that's what she's saying in Spanish. Now here's her talking more about this little black kid.
This kid needs a beat down. Like, let me take him around the corner and then I'll bring him back.
Yeah.
¿Sí me entiendes? Ven para acá.
It's a pinch.
Yeah.
But yes, he's the fourth.
So anyway,
you hear that little evil laugh? She gives like a maniacal, evil witch laugh after she says she's gonna take a black kid that's not her kid, not related to her at all. She's gonna take him around the corner and beat him up. Let's play that back. Not just, oh, the kid needs to be disciplined, because we've all been like at a grocery store or something like that, and a kid is misbehaving, and we're like, you know what, their parents their parents need to discipline their children better. But we don't say, hey, you know what, I would want to take that kid around the corner and beat that kid and then bring him back. We don't do all of that. We might say, oh man, their parents, their dad, their mom, they need to get their kid. But that's the most you would say. That's the most a normal person who doesn't enjoy hurting black children. That's the most a normal person would say. However, she's going into details about how she wants to take this black kid because he's black. Because she wouldn't say this about a Hispanic kid or a non-black MD kid. She wouldn't say that about them. She only is saying this because it's her anti-blackness plus it's a little kid, it's a little boy. And you know how they love victimizing little black kids, so that's why she said that. But I want you to pay attention to her evil little sick laugh that she gives afterwards. Hold on, here it is.
They're raising him like a little white kid.
And then they're saying they're raising him like a little white kid. What do you think that means? They're raising him like a little white kid. So how are you supposed to raise black children differently than you're supposed to raise white children? Which means that they're not punishing the black, which this is what it means. And they all know this. That means that you are not punishing this black kid enough. You're letting the black kid do what he wants to do, or you're letting the black kid play like you would let a white kid play. You're giving the black kid the same amount of freedom and liberty to enjoy himself that you would give a white kid. That's what they're saying. What is it? Oh, you're raising him like a little white kid. What does that mean? And I'm saying the W word because that's what she said. So YouTube, don't do nothing.
I was like, this kid needs a beat down. Like, let me take him around the corner and then I'll bring him back.
Yeah.
¿Sí me entiendes? Ven para
It's a
acá.
pinch.
Yeah.
But yes, he's the fourth black.
So anyways, getting back to redistricting.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be talking about redistricting. It's not like they were just sitting around a bar or something and, you know, having some beers, or they were intoxicated or whatever the case is. And then they started saying this. They were supposed to be having a closed door business conversation about redistricting, which was racist in and of itself. But then they started talking about how much they wanted to beat black kids up and all of this stuff. But more goes on.
Yeah, let's go Cape Town.
Yes.
I see a lot of little short, dark people.
Yeah, puro Oaxacan Koreans. Not even like Kevin.
Do you hear that laugh?
Yeah, let's go Cape Town.
Yes.
I see a lot of little short, dark people.
Yeah, puro Oaxacan Koreans. Not even like Kevin, little ones.
I was like, no, I don't know where these people are from. I was like, I don't know what village they came, how they got here, but
And so they're wearing shoes.
So
feels.
I get what we have to do, right? Just massage to create districts that benefit you all,
Yep.
right, and the future.
Yep.
But we got to figure out Mark's seat too.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And I'm
that
gonna
benefits
take
you
different.
three.
Is if the African Americans look at this, now that he might or may not be suspended, I don't know what's gonna happen. I think that he should be, but anyhow, if he goes away,
You mean resign, not suspended?
No, here's
you're right, I think, yeah, there is a difference.
if I may.
If he resigns, hold on, if he resigns and the African Americans look at this as a hostile takeover because he's gone, we'll have to figure that shit out because politically they're gonna come after.
Yeah, but can I say something right now? And this is what I call the ¿cómo se llama this guy? The movie, the Wizard of Oz effect.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by the Wizard of Oz effect is when you're at the side of the curtain, it's like this big voice.
An
It
illusion.
sounds big.
An
it sounds like there's thousands of them. And then when you actually pull the curtain, is that you see the little Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
You know what?
I've never watched the movie.
It's the same thing.
All right.
It's real simple. You got 100 people, right?
I think it's the
52 of
old
them are
school
Mexicanos.
folks
I
on
feel
that
pretty
do
good
that.
about it. I feel pretty good about my chances of beating your ass.
25 are for black. And the 25 blacks are shouting. And the
But they
52
shout like there were 250.
Yeah.
When there's 100 of us, they're
Right.
like, it sounds like
So,
there's 10 of us.
but
If you guys didn't peep that, let me kind of break that down a little bit for you. What she's saying is she's all like, okay, we're pretty much going to be making political moves that's going to make us look as if this is a hostile takeover from the Hispanics towards the black people. So we got to kind of maneuver our way so it doesn't appear that way, so it doesn't look that way. That's what they're talking about. And then the other guy, he reassures with the Wizard of Oz reference that, oh yeah, black people might make a lot of noise. And of course, you know, when especially foundational black Americans, when there's something that needs to be done and we are on code when it comes to something, we make sure we make the noise necessary to get that thing acknowledged and get whatever problem solved. Now, his reference is, okay, yeah, they might make a lot of noise. They might seem scarier than they really are because we really have the numbers advantage on our side. Let me play that last little sentence back for you guys.
about it. I feel pretty good about my chances of beating your ass.
25 are for black.
Now he says, hold on. He says, I feel pretty good about beating you. I'm not gonna say
25 are for
everything.
black.
Then he says 25 or so are blacks. The 25 blacks are shouting.
And the 25
Then he gives some type of little villain laugh. They're all just circling around, cackling like a little bunch of supervillains, but okay.
blacks are shouting. And the
But they shout like,
And then he says, but they shout like they're 250. That's 100
there were
times.
250.
Yeah.
When there's 100 of us, they're
Right.
like, it sounds like
So,
there's 10 of us.
but
Yeah, that's
Yeah, but when there's 100 of us. So he's saying pretty much we're outnumbering the black population there, so there's really nothing to be worried about. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. And this is a reflection, honestly, of how they think. They feel as there's no black and brown coalition. They say that when they're at a disadvantage, when they feel like there's something that the blacks can do for them. When they start getting their numbers up and when they start getting their socioeconomic power up, then they become more emboldened to be all like, hey, you know what? Let's just take everything. Yeah, they might be upset. Now Nuri Martinez, she's still trying to play it kind of like the black and brown thing. She's still trying to play that game. The guys are like, what's his name? Sedino or Saladino, I believe his name was. He's all like, it don't even matter. We outnumber them. There's nothing really they can do besides be upset about it. They can't make any moves because they don't have the numbers that we do. This is really an accurate reflection of how they think and what they believe. They come in on some black and brown, and we're black and brown people, and we work together. They come in there on that, and then next thing you know, when the numbers start shifting in their favor, or when the socioeconomic position starts favoring them, when they get preferential treatment, and that puts them at a socioeconomic advantage over the black population, whether they're numerically a bigger number or a smaller number, then they start pushing the whole, you know what, now it's Latino power. All that black and brown stuff is dead. They don't really believe in that. They tell black people that because some black people still have this thing where a lot of black people are really insecure and have this like ethnic foreign Latino worship thing going on where a lot of black people feel as if Latinos are better than black people. Latinos are sexier or they're spicier or they have better culture or food or whatever the case is. And they use and manipulate that into lying to them and saying that there's some type of coalition. And then the second they get power, this is how they're talking when they're behind the scenes. Yes, exactly. Now it's La Raza. Now it's purifying the race. That's what that is now. There's another audio. Let me get down here. Um, Please make sure you guys like this broadcast too. Make sure you guys share it on your various social media platforms. I greatly appreciate that.
If somebody slides in, right, temporary or however you do it, right, that person has to support the three of you. Has to support the three of you. And
You
Danny,
know who wants to run for that seat?
Reggie.
No, Isidore.
I ain't gonna support that, Reggie. Reggie was over there with Karen.
Who was
Yeah.
over
After he was fucking sweating his ass off.
The one who will support us is Heather Hutt.
Yes.
I like Heather Hutt.
Yeah.
Heather, if somebody slides in, right,
Should be more.
There's certain people who don't merit like us rescuing them. Your comadre, right?
I'm not arguing with you about that.
I know who you know.
¿Quién es tu comadre?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't merit. Right?
Now,
But
this is a lot. The main stuff we had already previously discussed. We have pretty much discussed the main things. Now, I want to get into this article real quick, and then we're gonna see some of the responses. Hold on, let me pull this all the way up and get into the article. Here we go. And this is from NPR. What a city council scandal reveals about LA's racial divides and solidarity. Okay. A leaked Los Angeles City Council recording hasn't just upheated local politics. It also has highlighted long simmering racial tensions within the multicultural city and the work needed to help it heal. First, a quick recap. Former City Council President Nuri Martinez resigned her seat on Wednesday after a recording surfaced of her making racist remarks during an October 2021 conversation with two other council members and city union leader, all whom are Latino. They discussed strategies for the city's redistricting process to maximize Latino population power and dilute the power of Black voters. California's Attorney General is now opening an investigation into the process. Martinez used crude and racist language to describe the Oxicans, which is like a foreign group, a native population, which the native population of Latinos, and that's when she made the comment, "Oh, there's a lot of dark. Why are they so dark? Where did they come from?" This is really, so you guys know, these are pretty much Black Hispanics, Black Latinos, which Nuri Martinez, she's a white Latino, so that's how they treat their Black population there. Okay, and so Martinez used crude and racist language to describe the city's Oxicans and Black communities, including the Black adopted son of one of her MD, I'm going to stop using the W word from now on, MD council colleagues. And then quote, what Martinez was heard saying on the leaked tapes were just about the worst things you could say as a politician in a city like Los Angeles, where cross-racial coalitions are so important, end quote, as PR's Adrian Florido, I believe. God, I'm trying to get better when it comes to pronouncing names. You guys got to work with me. Okay? It continues to say, as the recording emerged, first posted anonymously on Reddit and then published by the Los Angeles Times, a growing chorus of voices from local protesters to the White House called for implicated council members to step down. Martinez quit, and Ron Herrera has left his position as head of the LA County Federation of Labor. But the other two council member, Gil Cedillo and Kevin D. Leon, have refused to resign. Okay. Now, so you guys know, those were the oh, wow. those were the two that were talking about. Oh, it's like the Wizard of Oz theory. It doesn't. They're not really that scary once you unveil the curtain. Of course, we all know about the Wizard of Oz. It was just a guy in the curtain, but they were the ones who were trying to reassure Martinez that, oh, you don't really have anything to be worried about because we outnumber the black population anyway. So they can be upset all they want to. They don't really have the numbers to do anything because we're the majority. So those are the two council members who refuse and who are currently still refusing to resign. I just want you guys to understand that. Now, continuing. Where was I? Okay. The acting council president canceled a meeting that had been scheduled on Friday, saying the body could not conduct business until those departures happened. Los Angeles is electing a new mayor in less than a month, and in this week's debate, candidates forced largely on the turmoil and on who would best be suited to heal the city's racial divides. Beyond City Hall, community groups are bringing black and Latino residents together to promote solidarity and prevent long-running tensions from flaring up. Okay, it gets worse, y'all. Changing demographics have provoked racial tension, it says. All right. Los Angeles populations have shifted from majority black to majority Latino over the past several decades. The Black Angelios, which is like black people living in Los Angeles, the Black Angelios are increasingly worried that their concerns, including gentrification and homelessness, which, mind you, are very, very huge concerns for the black population in Los Angeles. These are major concerns for the black population there. Okay, but I digress. Um, Including gentrification and homelessness, will be ignored by leaders as Latino political power grows. Erica Smith, a columnist for the Los Angeles Times, wrote this week that the substance of the recordings confirmed the worst, quote, the worst fears of many black Angelinos. That Latino politicians treat political power as a zero-sum game. That because of their numbers, they will take over the leadership of the city, and that because of their racist beliefs, they will ignore our needs, end quote, which Eric Smith made a very good point because clearly that's exactly their intention. But before we continue, shout out to our brother Jojo for the first super chat, the first $5 super chat of this broadcast. Thank you, Jojo. It says, keep up the good work, bro. Ozone thanks. Ozo says, thank you for being there for him. Well, I'm glad to help. I really am. And thank you for the super chat. For the ones who have not seen that video I did, or the video our sister Zizi did, I co-hosted it with JL. Me and her co-hosted the video where we raised a lot of money for our brother Ozone's campaign. If you guys haven't seen that, it's on my channel and it's on her channel. So you guys definitely go like both of the broadcasts on both our channels. Go subscribe to her channel if you guys haven't done so, and check that out. And also leave a donation if you can. And thank you for that. Now, continuing. Let me see. Where was I? Okay, so yeah, she was right about this whole thing. This is exactly what the Black Angelinos are feeling, and this is exactly what is transpiring. Smith wrote that the incident had shattered the popular narrative that Los Angeles and California in general, being some sort of multicultural mecca, where black and brown people build alliances to work together. I don't know where that popular narrative is, because black and brown people have been going at each other for the longest time in Los Angeles. I'm not sure where that quote popular narrative came from. That should have never been a popular narrative, because that's not the case, especially in Los Angeles. That's not the case whatsoever. Okay? Continuing. Despite the tensions associated with the demographic shift, Los Angeles has done a history, or has a history of black and brown communities cooperating in pursuit of progressive causes. Okay? According to the University of Southern California sociology professor Manuel Pastor. Don't know where he got that from. Not sure where that's coming from. Okay, we have this history of cooperating to pursue progressive causes. What progressive causes? Mind you, too, anytime they try to say, oh, well, what about the history of the black and brown? There's so much history with black and brown, right? They don't ever give any specific details as to what the history is. Notice, well, I'm going to read it to you guys, but he doesn't in the article explain like some of the things that black and brown people together accomplished together. Now, anytime they talk about the black and brown stuff, they talk about that as if, or they mix that up. Just like with hip hop, they mix it up. It's black people starting stuff, black people creating things, just like hip hop, black people creating things, and then Latinos coming in after the fact. And then they talk about, oh, this was a black and brown thing. No, it wasn't. Just like hip hop was not a black and brown thing. They talk about this black and brown thing. That's not the case. You can't really, in history, in the history of the United States of America, you can't really pick a thing where black people and what they call brown people, because they don't even really identify as brown, but we'll just say the Hispanics, because that's really what they say when they say brown. You can't really find a progressive cause where black people and brown people were both participating 50-50 and we succeeded. Did you guys not know that there were brown people who they call brown people today, Hispanics? They were actually working with the Confederacy in the Civil War against the Union, and the Confederacy, as you know, were pro-slavery, even though the Union was kind of pro-slavery, but legally speaking, the Union was against slavery, and the Confederacy was pro-slavery, and they had a lot of Hispanics fighting with the Confederacy. Okay, a lot of people don't know that. If black people and brown people have never really coalitioned or anything, worked together, cooperated successfully on anything. It's always been black people leading by example, black people starting things. You can even look at the Black Panther movement. It was Huey Newton and Bobby Seale who created the Black Panther Party, and then that became a nationwide thing. And then you had other races of people, even though they shouldn't have really let them, but you had other races of people jump on board after the fact. When they bring up, oh, well, there was brown people in the Black Panther Party, there was a lot of ops in the Black Panther Party too, so that goes without saying too. And a lot of the ops were the non-black people, okay, but there wasn't no like 50-50 thing with the Black Panther Party. The Black Panthers was already doing their thing, and then you had some Hispanic groups who are just trying to crowbar off of the momentum of the Black Panther Party and off of the momentum of the civil rights. So that's really American history, not just Los Angeles history, but that's really the American history of black and brown, or black and minority. They've always come after we've started something. And that's only the few times that we've been really on the same side of anything. In a lot of the cases, the Hispanics has been against the black side. There was a situation, and I constantly have to keep reminding people of this, but there was a situation out in Chicago in 2020. I remember telling you guys about this a while ago, where you had the Hispanics from the Hispanic neighborhood of Little Village, and this was right around the George Floyd uprisings. The Hispanics were out there attacking the black protesters, just unprovoked, attacking black protesters, men, women. There was a video of a pregnant woman in a car. She was just driving, and then you had a bunch of Hispanic men, and they were just beating the car with bats and all of that. They really like to use baseball bats for whatever reason, but they were beating the car with bats and all of that stuff. This is recently. This was a couple years ago, very recent. So in a lot of cases, they're against the black population, just like in this situation, just like Martinez and her group. They're against the black population. So you guys know there's no black and brown, nothing. Okay. Yeah, some people have tried to make that argument. You're right. Some people have tried to make that argument about the Hispanics in the Black Panther Party. It says you say, yes, I have to say some of what Afroelite is saying is true, not 100% of it. What if what I said is 100% not true? Tell me, the radical Latino, what did I say that was incorrect? But anyway, and he's not going to be able to prove anything I said it was incorrect either. But anyway, let's continue. Both he and Smith spoke to Morning Edition. Morning Edition host Martinez, and I'm sure this is unrelated to the other Martinez, but they might be. I don't know. Host a Martinez about how that came to be, and what needs to happen to preserve those alliances and help the city heal. Okay, it continues to say, quote, there really were tension and conflicts around jobs in schools and communities, but there has been a tremendous access of black-brown solidarity building, community bridging, power building that has occurred over the last 30 to 40 years, with a lot of that happening in South LA, but a lot of that being citywide, Pastor says. Yet he has not given anything specific about black people and brown people, quote, working together to build this bridge and community and all of that stuff. That's not happening whatsoever. Okay. Notice all of this stuff is vague. Oh yeah, it happens in LA, but it's citywide. What is citywide? What bridges are you talking about? What power building are you talking about that is citywide when you have a huge homeless population of black people in LA, when you have massive gentrification going on to the black population in LA? What citywide power building are black people and brown people working together to build? It continues to say, and so one of the things that I think is perhaps the most tragic about what's been happening with the revelation of these racist comments by 4 Latino leaders is that decades and decades of solidarity building were eroded really in a short amount of time. Let me reread that. Let me see. Hold on. Let me in. I'll tell you. I'm not opening the. Clearly, I'm still reading this. I'm not opening up the things right now. But you can continue to watch, though. You can definitely continue to watch. But you have been timed out because I'm not gonna have you troll. Now, let me see. Let me play this back for you guys. And I'm gonna break this down after I play it back for you. I'm gonna start from the very beginning all the way up until the end. There really were tensions and conflicts around jobs in schools and communities. Now, let me ask you, why were there tensions and conflicts behind jobs, schools, and communities? If black people and brown people are, quote, working together, it sounds like What really is going on is you have what they call brown people, Latinos. They are working with the dominant society against black people. So a lot of them are coming over and they're getting preferential treatment when it comes to the jobs, preferential treatment when it comes to the schools, and preferential treatment when it comes to certain things being given to the community. That's where there really were tensions and conflicts. What tensions and what conflicts? What were the tensions and conflicts about? If black people and brown people are working together to build this powerful coalition, okay? Now, he continues, but there are tremendous access of black brown solidarity building. Don't know what that means. Community bridging. Now, up here, he just says there's conflicts, tensions, and conflicts about jobs, schools, and communities. And then down here, he says there's community bridging. Okay, so what is it? He just contradicted what he said earlier in the paragraph. Power building that has occurred over the last 30 to 40 years. Power building not for the black people. Black people have not built any more power over the last 30 and 40 years in Los Angeles. Latinos have. So you might be talking about power building as far as what the Hispanics have access to. But not as far as the black people, not as far as the black population. Okay. Where was I? With a lot of that being in South LA, with a lot of that happening in South LA, but a lot of that being citywide. That's not true. No, it's not. Not at all. No. Okay. Then he goes on to say, and so one of the things that I think is perhaps the most tragic about what has been happening with the revelation, I don't know why I can't say that word, with the revelation of the racist comments by 4 Latino leaders is that the decades and decades of solidarity, what decades and decades of solidarity building? What he says, the decades and decades of solidarity building have been eroded. So he's the way he is saying it, and then he continues to say in a very short amount of time. The way he is marketing this is as if black people and brown people were sitting up there like this, and everything we were doing, we're black people, brown people, and we're working together and we're building together and we're getting stronger and all of this stuff is going on. And then because of Nuri Martinez and the other council members, all of that is gone. That we were perfect before the videos of her leaked. There was no tension. There was tension, but then there was no tension. But we had this strong coalition and solidarity prior to her saying that. Now, because she said that, it's all gone now. That's the way he's making this seem, which is not the case. It's not true at all. It's not true. Okay. Now, continues. Smith says the recording has shown much work still needs to be done to bring those groups together. Still, what work has been done anyway? Quote, there may be a lot of people thought that the hardest part kind of was over. What hard part did we accomplish? We haven't accomplished anything in the slightest bit. Continuing, one challenge she mentioned in her piece is underrepresentation on city council for Latinos, who make up half of LA's population, but less than a third of its council members. Smith says the question isn't whether black people are overrepresented, but how the council can pursue equity in a way that isn't at their expense. Quote, we've always kind of moved forward as if we were just had black and brown alliances and we're moving together in equity. End quote. No, we have not. Hispanics have always been on that La Raza, purify the race nonsense. Hispanics have never moved on a black and brown coalition, alliance, solidarity, whatever you want to call it, unless it was for their benefit. And the second it stopped becoming for their benefit, they stab black people in the back every single time they get. They only look out for their group and their best interests at all. They have no concern, no care, no empathy, no sympathy for anything that the black population is going through. Okay? But these are real concerns but these are very real concerns that haven't been addressed, that haven't really been addressed recently, she says. Okay, now, continuing. It says, Pastor is the co-author of a study called Black Experiences of Latinization of Loss of South Los Angeles. Okay, I guess that's a book, which details the area's shift from 80% black in 1970 to majority Latino today. I want you guys to know 1970s, that's about 50 years ago. So it was 80% 50 years ago. Now black people in Los Angeles are the lowest ethnic group in Los Angeles. It went from 80 to being the absolute lowest, even below the Asian population in Los Angeles. Okay. He interviewed black residents in South LA about their experiences losing what he described as hard-fought spaces. Exactly. Black residents had long struggled to gain a foothold in certain parts of the city that had been inaccessible to them because of the racially restrictive housing covenants, redlining, and other racist real estate practices. Pastor says he heard a variety of perspectives during these interviews. There was concerns about the growing Latino presence, especially because it changes the language spoken in the neighborhood. Now, that's a key point, and let me start to address that. Because what happens a lot of times too is when you have a larger Latino population, then what jobs will do, they will give preferential treatment to people who are bilingual. And the thing is that them coming over here, they come over here. You have a larger amount of Latinos who are bilingual and who know fluid Spanish and English, or a little bit of, they know pretty much very fluid Spanish and English, more than the black population there does. So they'll be all like, hey, well, both of your resumes, you might be a foundational, and they might just have gotten here 2-3 months ago. But the thing is that they're bilingual, so we're taking them over you. They use bilingual as another excuse as to why they hire the Hispanic population over the black population. Okay, so that's very important too, and that's a big concern. Okay. Now continuing. I don't know what I'm doing. Continuing. Imagine if you were a parent in a school in South LA. You're a black parent, and all of the students were all of the students Sutton, the vast majority of kids were Latino, he explained. And the language is spoken to the PTA, or when the principal is speaking to parents in Spanish, and someone is actually translating into English to you in a space that was hard fought. Now, that's something. I want you guys to really think about that. That is really something. That is really something that they really have to worry about. Because Los Angeles, to get the foothold in Los Angeles that the black population has gotten, was not an easy feat whatsoever. It was a very difficult feat, actually. Took years of hard work and dedication, I mean, for the black population to get what they have in the city now. So imagine building all of that for years, and then all of a sudden you have Hispanics who have not worked like the black population have. That's when they're talking about, oh, look at how much you overcame in the 50 years. And you mean black people? You mean all the work black people, foundationals, the FBA? You mean all of the work that we have done? And the Latinos get to come in, they just flood in here. And now everything has to change to accommodate them. Now you have more people who are in school. They have to speak Spanish. They have people at work. They have to speak Spanish. People at the hospitals have to speak Spanish to accommodate them. And then imagine how you might feel where you need a translator because you're the only one in the room who doesn't understand the language when you are the people who have worked for them to get there in the first place. Just imagine that from like a psychological perspective. Imagine going to like let's say the roles were reversed. Imagine going to a Hispanic country and it's a flood of FBA, flood of us going to one Hispanic village, and there's so many of us that they needed to get an English translator because everybody around them started speaking English. So they're in the rooms where they don't know what is being spoken. They're in the rooms where we're just talking regular English and they need somebody to translate. They would feel uncomfortable. Like, how are you guys going to come in here and now we have to adapt to not acquiesce necessarily, but to accommodate the fact that you guys don't know English fluently? You know, psychologically speaking, that's very uncomfortable for a lot of people, especially for the people who built the foundation of which they are benefiting from. That's very uncomfortable for them to live in. It's very uncomfortable. Okay. Now, continuing. Make this a bit bigger. Where was I? Okay. Here it goes. On the other hand, Pastor says, he heard many people say that Black and Latino communities face the same struggles. Let me take a drink. Y'all gonna have me acting like TBA with a bottle of Pepto-Bismol right next to me. Let me start over again. On the other hand, Pastor says he heard many people say that Black and Latino communities face the same struggles. Look, I'm gonna say this one time, and I'm gonna just say this: all of you interracial fetish having folks, y'all need to stop that. All of the whole Black and okay, let's really be real about this, like for real. The people who be all like, you know what? Black people and brown people, we really have the same struggles when you really think about it. No, we do not. Not in any which way. There's no way we have the same struggles whatsoever. Not at all. The Black people who say that, they like to be around Hispanics because a lot of Black people have insecure, and I've talked about this in a Twitter space before, but a lot of Black people have like deep rooted insecurity, and then they have like worship for the Hispanic community. Even though they don't want to admit it, they make it seem like it's a 50-50 thing. Oh, these are just my amigos. These are just my buddies. No, they have an infatuation in a worship to be accepted by the Hispanic and the Latino community. Okay? They want to be accepted by them. They want to be around their, let me be PG, but they want to be around their women. They want to engage in their interracial sex. They want to be Latino. That because they hate their own Blackness. Only insecure Black people are like that. Only insecure Black people. Okay? No prideful, especially FBA. No prideful FBA would say garbage. No prideful, intelligent FBA would say any garbage like this. We all have the same struggles. No, we don't. Not at all. And a lot of the struggles, especially in LA, that Black people are going through is because of them. Okay? So that is some garbage. And you probably handpicked, I heard some people, yeah, it might have been it might have been somebody, and that person probably has majority Latino friends trying to date some type of Hispanic or whatever. Hold on. So that's what it is. Hold on. All right. This was a call I had to text. All right. Now, continuing. All right. Start over. I couldn't even get past the paragraph before I interrupted that garbage. Continuing. On the other hand, pastor says he heard many people say that. Now he's not saying many black people too. I want you to keep that in mind. He's not saying he heard many people. He's not saying black people, so he could have just asked the Latinos this. And you know the Latinos, they're always going to try to say that they have the same struggle black people do. So, on the other hand, Pastor says he heard many people say that black and Latino communities face the same struggles, end quote. In terms of job quality, affordable health, housing, environmental problems, schools that need significant improvement so that our kids can go to college. Now, black people face all of this times 10 in comparison to the Latino population, especially in Los Angeles. Excuse me, especially in Los Angeles. He also heard people in predominantly black spaces talk about the need to form alliances with Latinos. Man, y'all gotta stop all that cooning, man. That cooning and that black and brown stuff is dead. Y'all gotta stop that. That interracial coochie is not worth it. She wound up in first. Oh, Lord, I don't, man. Oh, what does Jason say? California, California, California. Continuing, quote, so I think there is a difference of some sense of resentment that there is. I think there is definitely some sense of resentment that is there, he says. And there's also some ground on which coalitions can continue to be built. Continue. You can't continue something that never started. Smith says black and brown communities were going to continue to share spaces and interact. So it's important to find a way to continue to live and work together ways that benefit everybody. Okay, now you see they started off with, oh, it's so disappointing because you see the black and brown people were just so united, and I just can't believe that she would say something like this. This is just incredible to me. But this isn't a reflection of the black and brown coalition because we're just so united. There's a little bit of tension maybe, but besides that, we're 100% united, and we're just like this. I asked, where's the Latino MLK? There is none. Not there is none. There is no Latino that matches our ancestors. None whatsoever. Not even close. None. Okay? And any Latino that has done something good for other people were the black Latinos. Okay. Continues to say, just start over again. Smith says black and brown communities are going to continue to share spaces and interact. And so it's important to find a way to continue to live and work together ways that benefit everybody. She believes those efforts start on the streets at the grassroots level. Man, do you guys notice how many articles and news publications have been using the term grassroots ever since we popularized that term? We are the people who popularized the term grassroots. Now you're seeing the word grassroots being used everywhere now. I want you guys to notice that. I don't know if you guys have, but yeah, that's just what it is. That's really just what it is. Now, end quote, or this is a quote. I think right now, now we're seeing a coming together of people from various different races and ethnicities that are frankly just outraged at what has happened. Sorry, the font is really small. Smith adds, and it's brought about a unity that probably, frankly, wouldn't have happened if this office recording had not been released. So what Smith, what she's saying is that thanks to this audio of the incredibly anti-black racist Hispanics, thanks to that audio being leaked, it brought black people in brown, Hispanic, whatever you call it, black and brown people together, according to her. Now, I want to show you something else. This is what AOC had to say about the situation. Let me pull this up real fast. Guys, we got a lot of people in here, over 100 people in the chat room right now. If you guys, or 100 people watching, can you guys please make sure you guys leave a like? Please make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe if you guys haven't done so. But this is what AOC had to say.
The comments that were made were simply and are simply incompatible with holding elected office. It violates the public trust, just point blank period. That's the beginning of it. That's the end of it. But I do want to dig a little bit deeper into the psychology of that, because it's also just as bad, if not worse. In corrupt, racist, classist environments, systems, political situations, people in power rely on pitting communities against each other, whether it's racially, geographically, whatever. They rely on pitting, trying to get Black communities and Latino communities and Asian communities and Native communities seen as each other's enemies, white communities, rural, urban, all of it. And leaders who fall for that are not equipped to lead. And frankly, this scarcity mentality that we need to pit or be suspicious of other ethnic groups or of other types of interest groups, geography, this, that, and the other, comes from the top. It comes from a vested classist interest, racist interest, etc. Because the more you can stoke like just whatever fighting amongst ourselves is less time that we're building solidarity with one another. And we need to be able to trust each other. And if we don't have that trust, we're not going to be able to build together. That's really so much at the core of what this is about. But we've seen what the outcome of those things are. Old school political machines, like from the 90s and plenty of other decades. And you know what it also yields? A lot of corruption. Because when all you care about, or any other decision on such a superficial zero-sum mentality, that is dangerous. And that is what people in power rely on in order to make sure that nothing changes, pretty much. And, you know, this isn't about just like talking about LA. We experienced this in New York, you know, especially when you look at New York political machines in the 90s.
Okay, now this was all I was able to get, because, you know, Twitter only allows you to have 2 minutes and 20 seconds. But let's go back and then let's debunk this and then let's see, is she correct? Is she
the comments
accurate?
that were made?
Now I want you guys to notice this. She addresses the comments that were made by Nury Martinez and the other city council members, like, in the first 10 seconds, and then she entirely switches the subject. She moves straight on afterwards. Let's count. Let's actually look at the timer and see how much time she spends on the actual subject of what they said. And then she doesn't even really go in on it. She just says, oh yeah, they were very not good. And then she completely moves on to the Black and Brown coalition.
The comments that were made were simply and are simply incompatible with holding elected office. It violates the public trust, just point blank period. That's the beginning of it. That's the end of it.
That's the beginning and the end. Now, that's 13 seconds. That is literally 13 seconds of the... Now, and this was... You know the video is actually longer than this. The video is actually longer than that. But that's 13 seconds of the 2 minute and 22 video. So that means for the rest of the video, she's talking about this Black and Brown coalition. And yeah, they're incompatible with an elected official. Huh? What type of vague thing is that to say? What she said was what Nuri Martinez said was incredibly racist and egregious, and she's just ended up saying pretty much that, oh yeah, it was unprofessional for her to say that. Look at this sorry little excuse she gives.
Are simply incompatible with holding elected office.
What does that mean? They're incompatible with holding elected office? She never calls those comments racist. Do you guys peep that? She never calls the comments racist. She just says they're incompatible with holding elected office. What does that mean? But then she continues.
Violates the public trust, Just point blank period. That's the beginning of it. That's the end of it. But I do want to dig a little bit deeper into the psychology of that.
Into the psychology. Okay.
Because it's also just as bad, if not worse. In corrupt, racist, classist.
And then she keeps using the word classist too. This is not a classism issue. This doesn't have anything to do with classism. They only bring up classism when they want to water down the fact that this is anti-black racism. They try to make it seem, oh, it's kind of classism and it's racism. It's racism, but it's kind of classism. It's ageism too. It's a little bit of that fat phobia ism too. It's abilityism, like disabilityism or something. Like it's really all of the isms, really, to kind of dilute it a little bit from it being actual anti-black racism, which is exactly what it is. Oh, where did it go? Okay, everyone right here.
Environments, systems, political situations. People in power rely on pitting communities against each other.
She never gives a description. She never says, who are these people in power? This is just this vague little, these people in power, these, the top.
Whether it's racially, geographically, whatever. They rely on pitting, trying to get Black communities and Latino communities and Asian communities and Native communities seen as each other's enemies, white communities, rural, urban, all of it. And leaders who...
Now, you know this is not the case because this is how their population really thinks. Their actual Hispanic population really feels this way about other Hispanics. You heard Nury Martinez, she was talking about the dark Hispanics. She was talking about, oh, what village they come from, those little dark people. They make fun of the non-dark Hispanics, the non-black Hispanics. They make fun of the black Hispanics. So there's not even a coalition among the Latino and Hispanic community. You have the dark ones, the black ones, and then you have the MD ones, the non-melanated ones, who are against each other in their homeland. They make it seem like when they come to America, there's some type of puppet master pulling the strings and creating a bunch of racial tension and division. That's not the case because they have the exact same amount of anti-black vitriol and anti-black racism in their home countries. So you can miss me with all of that. Oh, it's the powers that be that create this racial tension and pit people against each other for their own classist gains. No, it's not. Not at all.
Who fall for that are not equipped to lead. And frankly, this scarcity mentality that we need to pit or be suspicious of other ethnic groups or of other types of interest groups, geography, this, that, and the other, comes from the top. It comes from a vested classist interest, racist interest, etc.
Mind you, too, she says the top or the powers that be or whatever. She doesn't say what the top is. There's no saying of what the top is. Nobody knows what the top is. Who is at the top trying to do this?
Because the more you can stoke like just whatever fighting amongst ourselves is less time that we're building solidarity.
Now here's the whole building solidarity. No, the thing is that the Latino population believes in La Raza, which means that they don't believe in building solidarity with the black population. They don't believe in that. These Asian communities, the what you call the native communities, the Mongoloid native community, they do not believe in solidarity. You know, they keep trying to make it seem as if all of these ethnic groups are getting along and that we're working together, but it's just some evil puppet master who's setting up this scene and somehow creating a racial tension just so they don't want to see us unite and form together. That's not the case at all, because you can go down the list. Black people, very, very, very specifically foundational Black Americans, we do not have any coalition with any other group. There is no non-black group, and then we don't even have the rest of the diaspora really on code with us. If we're going to be totally honest, shout out to the ones who are, but it's not the vast majority. But besides that, there is really no other group at all that's willing to join forces in some type of power building coalition. Okay, everybody's looking out for the power of their own specific ethnic group at the expense of black people. And black people are the only ones who are not doing that to them. Black people are the only people who are not trying to get over on some other ethnic group. Black people are the only people who are talking about a black and brown or a black and Asian or a black and minority coalition. Black people are the only people who are doing that. Continue.
With one another. And we need to be able to trust each other. And if we don't have that trust, we're not going to be able to build together. That's really so much at the core of what this is about. But we've seen what the outcome of those things. They're old school.
We've seen what the outcome of what things. They're old school. No, they're not old school. She made it seem like this is an old tactic. No, this still very much so goes on today, AOC.
Political machines like from the 90s and plenty of other decades. And you know what it also yields? A lot of corruption. Because when all you care about, or any other decision on such a superficial zero-sum mentality, that is dangerous. And that is what people in power rely on in order to make sure that nothing changes, pretty much. And, you know, this isn't about just like talking about LA. We experienced this in New York, you know, especially when you look at New York political machines in the 90s.
Okay. So, yeah, AOC is garbage, full of crap. Absolutely. But did she make a point? Let's see. Let's kind of look into the black and brown coalition that they say exists. Remember not too long ago when I did a broadcast, and the broadcast I did about the 1,000+ immigrants that are coming to Chicago, which was a really great broadcast. If you guys haven't seen it, you guys definitely should after this broadcast. And there's a lot of people here, and there's a lot of people who've been watching. So I assume if you guys have been watching this far, it's been over an hour if you guys have been watching. I'm assuming you guys kind of like this broadcast. So if you guys could leave a like, I would greatly appreciate that. And hit that subscribe button so you guys will be caught up to date. You guys will be put on my subscriber list, which helps the channel grow. And you guys won't miss any content. But you guys should make sure you guys hit that notification bell too, because sometimes YouTube is very janky with that, sending notifications out and recommendations, even if you are subscribed to this very channel. So hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. Plus two, you guys can follow me on my social media. The link is in the description, and it's this bar running across the screen right here. But remember, and share this video on your various social media platforms. Remember a couple weeks ago when I had said that there was an auction going on in a school. There was some type of school auction going on, and at the time, there was a lot of majority of the students there were Hispanic, and they were having a slave auction go on, and in punishment for that they had their football season canceled. It was people on the football team. So the players who had participated in the slave auction, they have been suspended, but I guess it was so many players that they wound up missing out on a couple games. So they kind of forfeited the rest of the games for that semester or that year. But when I had reported on that originally, that's when the story first broke. So the video hadn't leaked yet. This is the actual leaked video of that. Okay. Now somebody, I guess, recording on another person's phone. So look again. Now he opens the door. Now the person with the camera knew exactly what's going on. That's why he's recording outside. He knocks. Then he opens the door. The lights are off because this is supposed to be so dramatic. The lights off. You walking into the dark room, and then, bam, flip on the lights, and all of these Hispanics, these anti-black Hispanics, are pointing and giving some type of slave auction to these naked black men. This one, if you see this one, the big guy with the dreads, it looks almost like he's wearing some type of noose around his neck. If you guys look at it, I don't know if you guys can see it, but this dude has like a noose around his neck. Now, I don't know what type of black people. I really doubt that this is anything foundational. Don't know if they FBA. I don't know. I really don't. It's giving non-FBA vibes, though. I'm definitely gonna say that. It's giving heavy non-FBA vibes, playing like slavery is some type of joke. That's very non-FBA-ish. That's very tetherish, if you ask me. But I don't know. And I can't say, because then there's going to be somebody proving, see, you always blaming the immigrants, and it wasn't even that. It was the FBA. So I'm not even going to say that. I'm just going to say I don't know, but I suspect, because of what we have seen in the past, that this is non-FBAs we're dealing with. But even still, what type of black people is this? What type of black people is this? This is shameful. This is absolutely shameful. But this is how they joke. This is how the Hispanics joke when they're around black people. Let's look at other things too, because maybe we could just say that video was just taken out of context. Let's look at this. And so you guys know, I'm going to keep the screen to a smaller level to kind of, I guess, prevent the copyright thing, because you know how copyright can be.
Unusual hate crime investigation on the peninsula. KPX finds Andrea Burba on 3 adults accused of assaulting a young black man who had paid a visit to a female friend. Andrea?
Well, Ken, Veronica, those 3.
And so you know, I'm going to have to pause it every so often to try my best to kind of work around the copyright thing. But this is under the guise of fair use. So YouTube should not give me a copyright claim or a strike or anything, because I am using this under the guise of fair use.
3 adults are facing felony charges, and tonight they are at the San Mateo County Jail here in Redwood City. San Bruno detectives say an African-American teen boy was at the house of a juvenile female acquaintance when 3 adults described as family members returned home, and that's when the assault began. The teen told officers that he was tied up with a rope, assaulted multiple times, held against his will, and targeted with racial slurs. The victim says they even threatened to kill him. Once he was finally untied, he went to the San Bruno Police Department and reported what happened. He was treated at an area hospital for his injuries.
The victim reported that throughout this attack, the suspects yelled at him using multiple racial slurs, and he believed his race to be a motivating factor in the attack.
The suspects in this case were arrested at the home where the alleged attack occurred. They are 46-year-old Wilfredo Amaya of San Bruno, 46-year-old Haiti Arguello of San Bruno, and 46-year-old Luisandor Suarez of San Francisco.
So we can do this, and I gotta pause it anyway for the copyright thing. These are 3 melanin deficient Latinos who kidnapped a black teenager, tortured him, and threatened to kill him. This is the reflection of the Black and Brown Alliance, the Black and Brown Coalition. Notice this wasn't a mainstream story, because a lot of you guys probably haven't heard about this.
46-year-old Haiti Arguello of San Bruno and 46-year-old Luisandor Suarez of San Francisco. They are facing charges of assault with a deadly weapon, criminal threats, and a hate crime tonight. Now back out here live in San Bruno, you might notice that there's not a lot of details associated with this case.
Now, that's enough. Not going to play the whole thing so we can make sure all the copyright stuff is gone. And I want to show you guys another story, one that happened more recently. Now, this is also under the guides that this is also protected under the copyright guides that I am following, because I follow all of the rules, YouTube.
Jury has now found Baytown police officer Juan de la Cruz not guilty for the shooting death of Pamela Turner.
Fox 26's Domely Keith is live at the Harris County Criminal Courthouse with the latest. Domely.
Yeah, Baytown police officer Juan de la Cruz walked into the courthouse this morning, a man who could have faced the next few years in prison, but he left this afternoon a completely free man.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Juan de la Cruz, not guilty.
The not guilty verdict for Baytown police officer Juan de la Cruz for the May 13th, 2019 shooting death of Pamela Turner was not what Turner's family wanted to hear.
It's no words to put. I mean, he ripped my heart out May 13th, and then the judge come here and rip it out again.
They keep coming up with all these intellectual justifications for police killing black women in America and never been held accountable.
I want to tell this family how sorry we really are for them, because Pam deserved a better end.
De la Cruz shot and killed Turner at the apartment complex where both lived while trying to arrest her for outstanding warrants after De la Cruz tased her. Then he says she took the taser and used it on him. District Attorney Kim Ogg says jurors...
Now, does that story... let's play that back a little bit. Because when I first heard that, I was like, huh? She did what? Now, mind you, I want you to see a picture, actually. If I could show you a picture. This is what the woman looked like.
Pamela Turner.
Okay. This wasn't no MMA fighter or no combat veteran from the military or anything like that. I'm not being disrespectful, but I'm trying to say this is supposed to be a strong police man fighting a black woman. Now listen to what they said, or he claims transpired.
Where both lived while trying to arrest her for outstanding warrants after De La Cruz tased her. Then he says she took the taser and used it on him.
He tased her. Then she claims after being tased, she took the taser and used it on him. How does that work? I want to know how that works. How a grown man can tase a woman, and then she takes the taser from his hands and then uses it on him. I've never seen anything close to that. I've never seen a man do that to another man, let alone a woman do that on the ground to a man. When does that happen? I've never seen a male suspect do that to a female officer. Since when does that happen? How does that even make sense? But that's what he claims happened. That's what he claims happened. Okay.
District Attorney Kim Ogg says jurors likely reached their decision because they weren't allowed to hear how De La Cruz knew Turner and was aware she suffered mental illness due to several previous encounters.
They could only base it on the evidence that the judge allowed into the trial. Disallowed was the past relationship.
He did not allow the fact that they had a relationship as far as him harassing her. He didn't allow the fact that this man violated policy and procedure.
The mental health of the victim.
Notice they cut her off real quick. Once she started talking about policy and procedure, they cut her off real quick. I wanted to finish hearing what she had to say. What policy and procedure? See, the thing is that notice how they all get on code when they talk about, and this is why I hate when they talk about the black people and the brown people have the same struggle, we have the same fight. No, we don't. That is a lie. That's one of the biggest lies that are told to black people, that we have some type of camaraderie with the grievance that we face in America. Notice how the judge got on code with the Hispanic officer, and it wasn't because he was an officer, because just like the situation with Muhammad Noor, if it was a black cop, they don't get on code with the black cops at all, period. All of that back to blue and back to Bladge and Blue Lives Matter, that flies completely out the window when it's a black cop. Now, when it's something being done to a black person, then, oh yeah, sure. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, this dude had a previous relationship, not like a previous interactions, so much they had a negative relationship. Now the judge, just like the same way the judge set the case up for Kyle Rittenhouse, the judge is not allowing that to be in the case. So this is what happens when the judge realizes that the defense doesn't really have a good case. The judge will just say, okay, well, you can't bring certain bits of evidence that makes the defense look bad into the courtroom. The same exact way, let me get this off the screen so I can really break this down. The same exact way they did with Kyle Rittenhouse. These are what the judges do. It's the judges who get on code, the prosecutors who get on code, because it took a lot. If you guys remember when that case really happened, it took a lot for that case, for the prosecutor to even pick that case up. So the judges get on code, the prosecutors get on code, the jury gets on code. All of them get on code with each other. Okay? So the judge knows, like, okay, yeah, the story of, I guess she pulled she did some type of Jedi trick and she pulled it. She used her magnetic powers or whatever to grab the taser from you and tase you after she was tased and laying on the ground. If you, I saw the video. She was sitting up there laying on the ground and then tased. Now I guess now he's trying to like put handcuffs on her or whatnot after she's been tased or whatnot. So there was no way a grown man's trying to put handcuffs on you and you do some type of ninja backflip and you grab the taser and whatnot. Now the video is very, very blurry. You can't really see what happened, but just based off of what he describes as what happened, it doesn't make any sense at all. It really doesn't. And the judge knows that it doesn't make any sense. So that's why the judge is all like, okay, your story not only doesn't make any sense at all, also too, counting the factors that you have a previous relationship, that you broke policy, number one, that you have a previous relationship, you've dealt with her on multiple instances, you already know that she has mental health issues, so you guys claim, because the family didn't claim that, that's what she claimed, okay, you have multiple mental health issues, okay, and that there have been reports that you have harassed her repeatedly. You've harassed her on multiple occasions. Once you factor all of these three things in, on top of the fact that your story doesn't make any sense, then the jury is going to convict you. So what I'm going to do, because I'm going to look out, because we're going to be on code against these black folks, what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to say all of the evidence against you, we're just not going to allow it in the courtroom. Yeah, we're just not going to allow it. Anything that makes you look bad, nah, we're just not going to allow it. The same way they did with Kyle Rittenhouse. Remember, there was a video where Kyle Rittenhouse beat up some girl, and the judge was like, we're not going to allow that in here. There was a video where Kyle Rittenhouse was talking about how he wanted to shoot protesters. He was like, we're not going to allow that in here. The straw man purchase, he's like, let's just throw it out. Anything that make you look bad, Kyle, we're just going to throw it out. You're perfect to me. That's the same way they did with this officer. The same exact way. And you mean to tell me that AOC feels that there's some type of coalition that is built, and it's the powers that be that try to create this racial divide between black people and brown people? That doesn't make any sense. That's a lie. I'm going to finish the rest of the broadcast, right? Or a little bit more of it.
This man violated policy and procedure.
The mental health of the victim, the fact that Baytown had their own mental health squad, and that this officer disregarded his own general orders.
He did not allow the facts that I had filed a police report against him. He did not allow any facts or any evidence that...
So this man has harassed her so many times that the mother had to file, or I believe that's the mother or the family member, had to file a damn near restraining order because he keeps harassing this black woman. And the judges are like, we're just not going to allow that to be a factor in the fact that he got into an altercation which ended her life.
Any evidence that supported her.
He called my phone and he talked to me, and he told me that he was trying to get my mom help. You don't get her help by killing her.
Ogg says when jurors don't have all the information,
it's hard for justice to occur.
Now, jurors deliberated for about 8 hours beginning yesterday afternoon before finding De La Cruz not guilty. De La Cruz, his family members, and his attorneys left.
First off, and I'm not giving the jury a pass either. That's the end of that. I'm not giving the jury a pass. I'm not giving the jury a pass. I'm not even going to do that. I'm not going to be all like, well, y'all just didn't know all of the facts. No, y'all not getting off that easy. Because just based off of his story, man, let me go to jury. They wouldn't even let me do it. Let me go to jury duty. Put me on the bench. I promise you, justice will be served. You put me on there. Because that story didn't even make any sense. There's a video of you tasing her, and then you say she took the taser away from you, and then tased you after you tased her. So you pulled out your firearm and shot her and killed her. That doesn't even make any sense to me. I don't even need the rest of the evidence there. That evidence enough alone means that you're lying about what happened, which means that you're guilty about something, which means, yeah, you just need to go to jail. That's just me. I don't even need the rest of nothing. So I'm not, the jury was on cold with that too. They trying to play it off like the jury didn't have enough evidence. The jury just, they convicted only based off of what they knew. No, the jury was on code. The jury was on code with that officer. That's what it is. But this all circles back to the fact that there is no black and brown coalition. That does not exist. That doesn't exist. All of these cops who are killing black people, all of these cops who are doing that, or deleting, I'm sorry, I shouldn't even be saying that, deleting black people, all of these cops, not the cops, all of these other people, we just talked about the story of the hate crime, and best believe if they charge them for a hate crime, I don't know how, because black people, you gotta go through the most egregious, evil thing imaginable for that to be considered a hate crime to black people. It has to be completely undistinguishable from anything else. Like the most evil thing a human being can do to another human being for that to be considered a hate crime. So the hate crimes from the Latino community towards the black community, and then you have political leaders who are in place, who are making fun of black people, and who are saying that they want to take over the population and put more Latinos in political positions of power over black people. And we're supposed to believe, AOC, that there's some type of black and brown coalition and there's some solidarity that we've been working together for decades and decades. And there's just a small little bit of tension going on. That's what we're told. That's what we're supposed to believe. No. Not at all. Not at all. Not whatsoever. There's no black and brown coalition. And all of what happened with the situation with Nury Martinez, all that did was expose it even further. Her actions, her mentality, her belief system is a reflection of the Latino community. Now, every single one of them, because I know it's going to be somebody in the chat room, if they're not already, or in the comment section, if they're not already, every single Latino probably doesn't think this way. Doesn't matter. But a very significant amount of them do. And then the ones that don't, they are very quiet and they're on code with the ones that do. So you have a problem on both ends. The thing is that black people, specifically foundational black Americans, we are all we have. There's no coalition. There's no alliance. There's no teamwork. There's no cooperation with any other group. We're all we have. But that is fine. It's perfectly fine because we are all we need. We have this rally coming up soon. Okay, less than a month away, November. About our reparations. We're not teaming up with any organization. This isn't no black and brown this is nothing. This is just us doing what we're supposed to do as foundational black Americans. Us stomping the way we're supposed to, without any help, without any teamwork, without any coalition or alliance or anything like that. This is just us doing what we're supposed to do. And we're going to make history because that's what we do. And we don't need any help. They have always, always, always needed our help to get anywhere. We have never even had the ability, the option of help from anybody. And we've always made the most progress. We're the best. We just are. And now I seem arrogant and egotistical to say, but yeah, I mean, it's the truth. It's the truth. We don't need anybody. Why? Nobody else can do what we can do. We're the best. That's just the truth. And I stand on that. But I want to thank every single last one of you guys for being here. We have a lot of people in here. Looking, okay. Just looking to put a bus together from Detroit. You know what? Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Friedman Speaks. I've been looking. I got to make some calls. I've been looking because people have been asking me. I guess I wanted to announce it tomorrow, but I guess I'm going to announce it tonight. I've been looking, or I've been getting arrangements set up for a charter bus from Chicago to Washington, D.C. So if you're in the Chicago area, I'm probably gonna make a space about this maybe tomorrow night, depending on how the phone calls go. I didn't want to say anything at first because I don't want to like get people's hopes up, but I've been looking for like group flights and stuff like that, something affordable. So a group of people in that area, they can get on some type of transportation and they can make it to DC, Washington, DC for the rally. So tomorrow I'm going to continue with the phone calls. It's more than likely going to get set up. I don't want to give any details out now because I don't know exactly the details yet. I still got to finish with the calls and the emails and stuff. I got a bunch of emails I got to look through, a bunch of different offers I got to look through. So I am planning on setting that up for the future, so you guys know. And if you guys are in your state, if you're in Texas, Atlanta, like our sister said, Detroit, Los Angeles, wherever you are, that is a project that you can work on too, so you can make the transportation for people who want to go to the rally easier that way and more affordable that way. You know, and then everybody, let's say you have 25, 30 people, they can all pinch in for the charter bus. And what's good about it is it's like it can go in a round trip if you set it up. So you guys can leave the way I'm you know what, let me not even say the way I'm trying to set it up. But you can leave one day at one time and then it's already paid for on the way back too. You just got to be there when the bus is there. So that's something that I'm working on for the rally as well too. I'm going to get more details about that tomorrow. If everything's a go, then I'm probably going to make a space to give people the details for that. Okay. But I hope to see everybody there. I really do hope to see everybody there. We're going to make history. There is no Black and Brown coalition. It's only FBA. And you see with this rally right here, what the small amount of power that FBA have when we are on code with each other, because we're the best. And I said it like, 4 times now, and I'm going to say it again. Thank you, everybody, for being here. He said, start walking. Hey, if you got to walk, I don't know. If you got to walk, hopefully it's not that far. You take many breaks. Take many breaks. But follow me on my social media, the Afro Elite on Twitter, at the Afro Elite on Twitter, and then Afro Elite on Instagram. Also, subscribe to the channel, please, to help the channel grow. We're on our way to 4,000 subscribers. I believe we can get there by the end of the year. And share this video, share this broadcast, share this channel on your various social media platforms so the channel can have a very vast reach of people. So you can educate people and you can help grow the platform. I would greatly appreciate that. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up on this video as well too. And I will catch you guys this Thursday. Okay? Until then, family, you all be safe. Have a good one and be one salute to all of the brothers and sisters out there.